sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Now,
It's 7 a.m.
it's 7 a.m. Time for the opening drive.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico.
For 5 years running. It's the OT in the AM with Jeff Symbieta, A. Castillo, and JJ Bond.
This is going to be about the winners. Yes, there's plenty to break down. Are the Celtics broken? Why are the Lakers coming up short when it matters the most? But with the conference finals in the NBA sitting at 3-0 in favor of the Miami Heat, in favor of the Los Angeles Lakers, you got to focus on the teams that are getting it done. And you can cry me a river about what could have been. Oh, we're missing out on Lakers Celtics. The NBA, they must be pulling their hair out. They're not getting LA and Boston. Well, guess what? The Lakers and Celtics don't deserve it right now. And this is all about the Miami Heat and the Denver Nuggets, what they're doing on the court. And last night, you saw a Miami Heat team that is just that, the best team in the postseason. And Nuggets definitely showed some of that in the second half in Game 3 in Los Angeles. But last night, Miami blowing the Celtics out the built. I didn't even dive into game notes in that one. I just said blued out the built. That was all I had written down from Game 3. Everything else, dissecting it, going in, no, you didn't need more than that last night for Miami. And if you Google team, what's the definition of a team? One of the things it says, also marked by devotion to teamwork rather than individual achievement. And I don't think that anything that we've seen so far in the NBA postseason classifies as that more than what the Miami Heat have done in the postseason. What it do, everyone? Welcome into the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. JJ Buck, A. Marie, our quarterback, Ned James, with you this morning.
Hey. Happy
and
Monday.
What we're seeing, it's, both series we will break down the Lakers and Celtics because there are plenty of question marks there. But what Miami did last night, what the Denver Nuggets did in the second half of Game 3 epitomizes team basketball, team performance to get something done.
Yeah, boy, what an introduction. When you have a man down, what do? Do you give him a hand up or do you kick him? You kind of kicked him there, JJ. You got these two teams, the Celtics and the Lakers, you're right. I'm sure the NBA brethren would have loved to have had the Lakers and the Boston Celtics for our national viewing audiences to bring back that rivalry, but it appears they're going to get the Miami Heat and the Denver Nuggets. But what you see is really a culmination of what these teams have been all season long. These are two teams who have kind of clawed and scratched their way to the top. Even though Denver's a number one seed, you wouldn't necessarily say they clawed their way to the top because they've been a top contender all year, and it shouldn't be a surprise to people. When you're the number one seed, you're the number one seed for a reason, and people can talk about Milwaukee and their injuries and whatnot, but this is a scrappy bunch in Miami, and they were able to get a strong win over the Bucks. But at the same time, it's like you said, JJ. I mean, I know, you have to give the disclaimer that you're a fan of the Denver Nuggets, and I've become a fan. I never really watched the Denver Nuggets until I moved to Albuquerque, and since you were a fan, I decided to take a look at them. And I've become a fan of Jokic. I like the big overweight Jokic to the Jokic of today, who is in better shape. But I give a lot of credit to Mike Malone, the coach there. I don't think he gets enough credit for that team being as good as they are. And on the other side as well, Spoelstra is being considered one of the top coaches in the NBA. And people are leaving out Mike Malone, but Mike Malone has done one of the most incredible jobs you could have ever done with a second-round pick in Jokic, in that he really is the catalyst to getting Jokic to play the way he's been playing. By keeping him in the game, even though he would come in overweight, not in shape, he would not pull him out. He made him work himself into shape. He showed him that, hey, I'm going to make you look bad out there if you don't come in here and play and you're not in shape. I'm going to keep you out there on the floor. You're going to have your mouth open, running down the middle of the court because you're gassed. But I'm going to keep you out there until you get in shape. And it's proven to work, because Jokic has now solidified himself as a premier player. And I give all the credit. You can give it to Jokic as well, but I give Mike Malone a lot of the credit. And there's just no answer for the three-headed monster of the Nuggets, with Michael Porter Jr. now playing a significant role with Murray and Jokic. There's just there's no third guy that can match up with him. I don't see a 6'10" that can kind of play the wing like he plays it and defend. He's got to get a little bit more aggressive, but he's been kind of the difference in my opinion. But it's just going to be tough. It's going to be a tough finals with Denver and Miami looking like they're going to be headed there.
Both teams up 3-0 respectively, and it's never happened. A team has never come back from a 3-0 deficit, and that is why everyone's saying get ready. Denver and Miami in the NBA Finals. But speaking of Michael Malone too, and it's just something that's going to roll over when we talk about the Boston Celtics and Joe Mazzulla and the young coach this season. But to that point is he has called his team out throughout the year. He has been on them. He has used the word soft at times when they haven't been there defensively, and that's been the one issue with the Denver Nuggets is, are they good enough defensively to be a championship team? Because that's something. Whatever you think about the NBA and the players and the style of play, when it gets to this point in the season, defense does matter. And teams that are able to play defense are winning NBA championships. And even the Golden State Warriors, if you go into their run that they are on, the Splash Brothers, three-point shooting, their defensive metrics were good during that time. And that was a question mark with these Denver Nuggets, is are they going to be good enough defensively? And they showed it at times in the postseason. And they brought that up before Game 3 in Los Angeles. Like, the Nuggets only 2-3 on the road in the playoffs. Not good defensively, giving up 115 points per game. And it was an entirely different team in the second half, Game 3 against the Denver Nuggets. And head coach Michael Malone talked about the mindset that they had.
I think the mindset is, you have to go out there and take it. I think, at this point of the season, I just told the guys after this win, you're fighting human nature. Up 3-0, what's the natural inclination? Take a deep breath, relax, and that's when you get yourself into trouble. We said the same thing going to Minnesota in Game 3, and we did it. Didn't do it against Phoenix, but tonight I give our guys credit because this game was so many games within a game.
Nuggets coach Michael Malone after Game 3, just focusing on that mindset of not getting complacent. The Nuggets were not in a position to get complacent in Game 3 because these two series definitely different in what we've seen happen, but similar into what's happened in the fourth quarter. Now, we saw the first blowout last night with what the Heat did to the Celtics, 128-102. And I like what you said about Michael Malone, Ned, because that's going to lead us in to really talking about the Boston Celtics. And, is this a coach or player thing right now? Who should we be looking at? Because we have two young coaches in Darvin Ham and Joe Mazzulla, with championship teams. Like the Boston Celtics were in the NBA Finals last year. This core, well, LeBron James and Anthony Davis, they won a championship. LeBron James is one of the best players in the league versus a veteran coach, well, championship coach Eric Spoelstra, and then Michael Malone, that's been there, done that, and consistent. And I think this is a really interesting dynamic of who are we looking at, who are we leaning on, because right now you have to start all credit to the Miami Heat and the Denver Nuggets. And yes, as you said, Ned, I'm a Nuggets fan, but I was also one of those people that kind of got caught going down that rabbit hole after game one. I thought the Lakers actually had something. I thought that was something there for them to turn the corner. But
Yeah.
in that fourth quarter, not the fourth quarter, that second half, game 3, second half, Lakers Nuggets,
Yeah.
they were out. Denver had the effort. And in the fourth quarter, they took the heart of the Lakers away. And that's the first time in that series you saw something like that happen.
Yeah, and it's just like everything. I mean, the Lakers may have it, but they just don't have quite enough. You can have it, but you need to have it all. You can't just have some of it, especially when you're going into the playoffs. That's in any sport. I mean, everybody's good. I mean, these are professionals. They're all getting paid. So, they're going to be ready to play as professionals. But, there needs to be something special there. And the Lakers, they have special. And it's Anthony Davis. He's played well every game. They just don't have enough. Denver has 3 guys that are playing well. And then their role players have played well. The Lakers, they've given guys credit, and Austin Reeves has played well. I give him credit. But LeBron, and I know you guys hate hearing this, but he's old, and he's a great player, and I like him, and he plays hard.
He looks like a 38-year-old right now.
But he's an old guy. I mean, let's not like mince words. Let's try to be let's let people understand that this is a young man's game. I mean, this is there's no substitute for youth and speed, and so this is what they're facing right now. And like I said, the Lakers are good. They're a good team. You don't get to the Western Conference Finals being a bad team. You don't get to the Eastern Conference Finals, the Boston Celtics, being a bad team, and we'll get into why I think what Boston's problems are. But the Lakers just don't quite have enough. And Reeves is playing out of his mind. Austin Reeves is playing, but he's just a guy. He can't match the 3-headed monster of Murray, Jokic, and Porter Jr. In my opinion, this is because that 6'10" matchup. I mean, people, you can talk about 6'10" all you want, and Porter looks disengaged at times, but he's playing a lot better. But that's a real thing. There's a reason why they gave him all that money. That guy is a tough matchup. He's a tough guy to score over, too. And so all these names, these Lonnie Walker, the Fourths, and all these other guys that they're bringing off the bench, and D'Angelo Russells and all, they're just not good enough to get it done. They're good, but they're just not quite good enough.
So can the Lakers salvage something? Game 4 tonight at home. The Nuggets trying to sweep the series and get to their first ever NBA Finals. The Heat up 3-0. And what is wrong with the Boston Celtics, a team that we saw come back in a series that they were down in against the Philadelphia 76ers? Jason Tatum had the best Game 7 we've seen, 51 points. It's there. So what's wrong with the Boston Celtics, a team that has it all but is coming up short in the conference finals? It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Makes a little sports analysis, pop culture.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from U.S. Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at U.S. Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with U.S. Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with U.S. Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Boston Celtics looking lost, especially last night. Miami Heat 128-102 victory. They have a 3-0 series lead over the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. So what's the difference? And this is a Boston team that just overcame a deficit in the last round. They came back against the 76ers. Jason Tatum had an unbelievable game, 51 points setting the tone. But they're a team that they've been up and down in the playoffs. And we have questioned at time their readiness, letting some games slip away. They have definitely been the most up and down team of the 4 conference finalists, but you really saw a team that was lost last night. And their head coach, Joe Mazzulla, said after the game, quote, "Yeah, it's why I need to be better to figure out what this team needs." And when he was asked a follow-up question, well, what does this team need? And he said, quote, "I'm not sure." And this is the fascinating conversation right now, especially when you look at NBA teams in the conference finals, teams competing to be an NBA champion. What is the balance between the emphasis we put on star players versus what we expect out of a head coach in this situation? Good Monday, everyone. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. Also catch us on ProView Networks. JJ Buck-Amory, our quarterback, Ned James, with you this morning. So the easy thing to point out is, well, it's the head coach. That's what's different. Ime Udoka was leading this team last year. He had his issue that went down. He lost his job in Boston, and they handed the team over to Joe Mazzulla. And at times, does he look like a young coach? Sure. And this is where I look at the Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. You have a veteran like Al Horford. You have guys that have been in the league a long time. And it's easy to scapegoat the coach. That's what happens. And is Joe Mazzulla ready for this roster like he was handed the keys to a Ferrari? Well, you can say, hey, he figured out a way to get them to this point. But is this a series, Ned, that we should be putting more on these players to help their young head coach out? Is this a series where we need to look at Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and go, if you guys are super max guys, you guys have been to the NBA Finals, do they need to be doing more to figure out what's missing from the Celtics right now?
That's tough. You know, it's hard to run it back with a different guy. You know, it's one thing if Udoka was there and, you know, they were in this predicament, but he's not there. And this is a new coach. Not so much he's young, but it's just new. And it's going to be a little different. It's going to be a little different with the adjustments at halftime. It's going to be a little bit different with the adjustments in game. Yeah, sure, they got back, you know, to this part in the playoffs as they did with the last coach, but it is different. And, you know, the coach, you know, I give him credit. He kind of fell on the sword. He kind of, you know, said it was him. He didn't have the guys ready. And that's what you're supposed to say when you're a coach, when you get beat like that. You know, you just got to say, hey, it had to have to be something that I did because, you know, this was a beatdown. You know, these guys show up here, we're down 2-0, and we get smoked from the beginning. And so, yeah, a lot of it does fall back on the coach, and it's unfortunate. You know, it's the nature of the business. I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but I'm just saying that at points you have to kind of reflect and say, you know, where could he make where could he have made the adjustments to make this a more competitive match? And the players, it falls on them as well. You got superstar players, you get paid the big bucks for a reason. I just see this team as just not having any energy. Like you said earlier, JJ, you spoke about defense. They're just not playing with the defensive intensity that they would with Udoka, the previous coach, because he emphasized defense. Now, this guy, we don't know what this new coach's emphasis is on. So, you know, it just seems like they're out there spreading it, you know, like you guys call it, 5 out, and everybody's trying to shoot threes. It doesn't look like anybody's really that enthusiastic about playing defense for the Celtics. But you know, you got to give credit where credit's due. Spoelstra's got these guys. I mean, they're just a bunch of underachievers that have just overachieved, it appears, and it appears that it's all coaching. from the standpoint that the Heat, they're able to keep that intensity throughout the game, and it's proven to be what's made them successful this far.
505-246-0610, 377 Brewery Hotline. That's also the Sports Animal text line for you to get involved this morning. You can hit us up on the socials at 610KNML on the Twitter. You can find us at parttimebro_JJ Buck as well. And your emails this morning, if you want to get them in, JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. What's missing with the Celtics? Can the Lakers salvage anything in this series? Because as I started, now, this is a credit to the teams that are up 3-0, and then you start looking at what is missing from the teams in that hole. Go to the phones. Lenny, you're on the Sports Animal. Lenny, good morning. How you doing?
Morning. Hope you guys had a good weekend. So let's go with the Celtics. I think the coach is a little bit over his head, but Tatum and Brown can no longer play together. But you talk about, if the coach can only do so much, but the coach is not shooting for them. Those shooting numbers yesterday were abysmal. To be out-rebounded offensively by 20 rebounds is abysmal. They just gave up in the third quarter, and to me, that's coaching. And he tried everything he could. He just may not be the right thing, but at the end of the season, Tatum and Brown can't stay together.
You got a team that's in the Western Conference Finals, though. So I mean, it's tough to break up that group.
I think Jaylen Brown's on his way out, though. I do agree with you on that one.
Yeah, and then on the other side, the Lakers have a great season from where they started to where they're ending, but LeBron is tired. He can't play the minutes he's doing, and he has no one around him. You have D'Angelo Russell is a negative on defense and a sieve. Hachimura is good when he can, but for next season, what do they have after LeBron and Davis? I mean, Hachimura, they have to bring back. Mo Bamba, they have to bring back. Austin Reeves is gone. This is it for the Lakers. This is their swan song.
Yeah,
and no one gave Deb credit. No one's really given Jokic credit. He didn't win the MVP again, but when you see him play, he plays and it looks effortless. So when everyone sees him play, they make him sound like he's lazy, he's not exciting. The last game, he was calling all the plays in the fourth quarter. Calling them all. And he stepped up like a veteran did. And what do you have, 16 points in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, he closed them out. Yeah.
That's what a veteran does. But he doesn't complain. He just does his job. And then it comes down to good coaching. Michael Malone, now he has Jamal Murray back, and then you still got to go to the best coach in the league, Eric Spoelstra. Playing without Victor Oladipo, and now I'm drawing a blank on the other one who had his hand hurt. That's out there, starter. And look what they're doing. You have Jimmy Butler and you have four also-rans on the court. And they're just blowing Boston out of the facility. That's embarrassing. They got a 3% chance to win coming into the series. And look what they're doing to them.
Yeah, Lenny, I appreciate the phone call. And I think someone probably needs to check that ESPN Analytics computer that put that out there before the series saying that Miami had a 3% chance advance to the NBA.
Well, also, Lenny said something that was interesting to me, that Jokic is making it look easy and effortlessly. He does not make it look easy and effortlessly. The guy's running down. The reason why he's the celebrity that he's going to be in the finals and people are going to want to watch him is because he's the guy in open gym that's the heavyweight, that's playing, that's shooting threes, that doesn't really play defense, that's running down the middle of the court with his mouth open because he can barely breathe. That's Jokic. Jokic looks like that big dude on the court.
That's why he doesn't get enough credit, because he doesn't look like Anthony Davis. He doesn't look like
exactly. He's not skilled. He comes down. He's every man in the gym. He's every guy in open gym. That's what Jokic is.
He is the most skilled forward in the NBA.
He's a center. He's not a forward.
He's the most skilled center in the NBA.
Okay.
And this is a matchup that we assume
one of the best
Davis
centers
was ascending. Right now, he is the best center in the league.
The center position has changed.
Of the word to it does effort. He gives it effort. Is he the best defensive center? No, he's not. But his effort doesn't waver, and that's what you're pointing out, Ned James, and that is why the Nuggets are in this position, because that games 1 and 2, guess who didn't score in the fourth quarter? Nikola Jokic. In game 3, Jokic took over in the fourth quarter. Superstars win you games on the road. That's what the Nuggets did. We got plenty. Oh, man, do we still got tons to get into with the Lakers and Celtics and what the future holds for those teams, and enjoy it. Because all of you scream about teen basketball, and you want to see players, and you're tired of LeBron James, you're tired of superstars, you're tired of what happens in the NBA. No one plays defense. Well, you're going to have the two best teams, two best basketball teams in the NBA Finals, and you best stand up and enjoy it. And you know who's enjoying themselves? Brooks Koepka, because what does he do? He wins championships. He rises to the occasion, and he did it again. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This message is brought to you by the New Mexico Department of Game and Fish. Can be found here in spring fishing in New Mexico is
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at U.S. Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with U.S. Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with U.S. Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from U.S. Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
History was made yesterday. In the last 55 years, only 6 men have won a 5th major championship. You got Tom Watson, Lee Trevino, Nick Faldo, Phil Mickelson, Steve Ballesteros, Tiger Woods, and now Brooks.
Brooksy!
Koepka. And Amory, when you're talking about who do you bet on when it comes to the PGA Championship, you bet on Brooks Koepka.
You bet on Brooks Koepka. JJ, I was hoping for a little rival at the end, but I like Victor Hovland up in number 2 too because he's never won one. But that was really good. And Brooksy made me nervous though because the final Sunday, halfway through the last 9 holes, he started falling apart and slicing the ball, but he crushed it all weekend.
Especially was 14.
Yes,
this is the drivable par 4.
Oh my God, he just
one on the green.
sliced it, and I don't know. People weren't even paying attention. I would be scared. But anyways, I was a little nervous, but Brooks Koepka reminded us how good he was yesterday, and a live player won a PGA championship.
Yeah, there's gonna be what you saw yesterday. Was a bunch of bitter old dudes.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
It was a bunch of
bitter old dudes.
A bunch of LeBrons
watching a live golfer win the PGA Championship. But honestly, for the fans, they don't care.
I don't
like that drama. There was like, oh, a player's gonna go play for money. Who you taking away from the PGA Tour? But when it just comes down to watching a golf tournament, I don't think anyone cares.
It doesn't bother me.
It's just it's the suits, it's the people behind the scenes that get all bitter. Now you have. Phil Mickelson's still going to take his shots because there's an investigation going on and is PGA Tour breaking antitrust stuff. But when it comes down to it, you just want to watch the best dudes competing. And that's what we got yesterday. PGA Championship, Brooks Koepka gets the job done. And Brooks Koepka is the Jimmy Butler of golf.
Totally.
He rises to the occasion. He plays his best on the biggest stage. Can you look at the numbers for Jimmy Butler? It's crazy. Like Jimmy Butler has as many 40-point games in his playoff career as he does in his entire regular season. And so there's a different level that Jimmy Butler gets to in the postseason. And Brooks Koepka's that dude. He can lock in. Now he can play the other tournaments, do his thing, but when it comes to major golf, specifically this event, the PGA Championship, the 3rd PGA Championship for Brooks Koepka, there's something about it that he knows that he has that extra level that he's able to lock in. The opening drive, JJ Buck Amory, Ned James. And, there's just certain dudes, Ned, whether we're talking about a golfer, a guy in the NBA, a quarterback, you name it. There's guys that can just find that extra gear when it matters the most.
Yeah, and Koepka, I don't know who's more famous, Koepka or Jimmy Butler, but this Koepka, the live golf thing is fascinating because I don't know if it has anything to do with rules and fairness and guys taking blood money and that sort of stuff, but when it gets into antitrust and you have guys who are traditionalists who have been around the game and understand how these political ramifications play into it. Golf is strange to me. It's just a strange thing. It's recreation to me. It's not really a sport, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. That's one man's opinion. Okay, it doesn't have to do with it. It's like golf and cheerleading. What's the difference between golf and cheerleading? I don't really think it's a sport more so than it is recreation. It's just old men who are deciding to make something relevant because they get to go out and do it as well at an age of 100 years old. You can play golf, and I think that's why it gets the recognition it gets. But that's just one man's opinion. I enjoy it. I enjoy playing. I enjoy the social aspect of it. But at the same time, I understand guys like Bruce Koepka now becoming famous for majors. is significant. At the same time, they're the Saudis, that sort of thing. What are we doing here? Why are we allowing this sort of thing? But I understand it's popular, and I understand people enjoy it, but. I don't know. I'm still. My daughter gets on me all the time because she was a cheerleader, and I say, hey, that's not a sport. And I say, so she gets on me for saying cheerleading isn't a sport. But I compare golf and cheerleading.
Did you watch any? I don't know. That it sounds like
I
you didn't
did.
watch it. Okay, I was like, did you see Michael Block get a hole in one on?
Yes, and that's the guy I was cheering for the club pro, because that proves my point. You can just go out and just play reg golf and come close to the major. But I don't know. I digress. Let me step away, because I can feel the darts coming at me from all across Albuquerque. From all the golfers out there.
Well, it's not darts.
Maybe I should get invited to more golf events, and maybe I'll change my opinion. But until then,
oh man,
that's not getting invited to the next level.
Yeah, no, not at all. That's so funny.
I used to get invited to them all the time. I rarely get invited to them anymore.
Oh my gosh!
But it was the PGA Championship, and the PGA Club pros have an opportunity to play their way into this major tournament, and Michael Block was definitely the story of the weekend.
Oh my god!
The hole-in-one, which was fantastic.
Dunk. It just dunked in there.
And that allowed him to finish inside the top 15, and so he's automatically qualified into next year's PGA Championship. So yes, could it go down into what Ned was saying? Okay, but it's one that that was a fantastic story. And Michael Block was a whole lot of fun mixing that in. And I think really for me yesterday watching was Live Golf. It's going to be there. For people watching on CW or not, that happens. We all have remotes. We all have the ability to watch what we want. But when it comes down to it, it didn't have as dramatic of an impact on the tournament, on really the fans. And that's what I go down to. I think the fans aren't necessarily sitting there rooting Live versus PGA. They just want to see the best. And Brooks Koepka is one of the best. Now, there's been the storylines.
And they want to know. They want to know if it's right, JJ. People want to know: is it right for Live golfers to play? Is it the right thing for them to be in that? With that group in that organization?
Because if
you
want to go down that road,
like
it's an honest question of where do we stop? What do we stop consuming if we actually know where all the money's coming from? And do I agree with everything that Live Golf does and some of the, as they say, sports washing? No. But when it comes to these guys still qualifying for the major tournaments, still being able to play because, they have past champions, you have guys that are still earning their way in. And, as we talk about the future of golf, of, when you get X amount down the line, when these guys don't have the world golf rankings, what is fair, what is right about it? Like, those are all real conversations. But in regards to, just watching the tournament, especially from a fan standpoint, it's a Live golfer up there. And really, it's what's Phil going to say? No, that's kind of the thing. Phil Mickelson's been the salty one. I think we really did see Rory McIlroy this week say, hey, I've said my piece about it. Right. PGA is here, Live's here. I don't need to fight this battle anymore because this is where we're at. And I think from the fan standpoint, watching Sunday afternoon, you knew, all right, it's Brooks Koepka and Live, but you knew it's Brooks Koepka in a major, and that's what interests you, not that a Live golfer was winning the PGA Championship.
Absolutely.
Some of us.
Well, I'm a big golf guy,
not all
and
of us.
I'm not against Live, it's no different to me than it was when Live wasn't existing, to be honest, these big tournaments. It's the same big-time guys golfing against each other. It's a lot of fun.
That's what I'm here for.
I'm here for it.
Some of us have to take a stand morally.
Yeah. And there's a lot of soapboxes to stand.
Hey, I mean, it's what it is. I mean, we, you could say, the Rorys and the Tiger Woods and those guys who took a stand against it. I mean, you could call them wrong.
I don't think they're wrong. I don't feel that from a consumer standpoint. Now, I know what you're saying, Ned, is it matters to you. And I think that's a good question, is the golf watchers, those that, tune into the major that were watching this weekend, were you rooting just for a PGA guy because it was PGA versus Live? How do you feel about that? 505-246-0610. That's a 377 Brewery hotline. Also, the Sports Animal text line this morning, rising to the occasion. Brooks Koepka did it, the Jimmy Butler of golf, but man, those major championships, number 5 for Brooks Koepka. We come back on the other side. The sports world lost an absolute legend, and you know you're an all-time great when people say it doesn't matter when. If it was today, if it was 50 years ago, if it was 25 years ago, you hand this person the football and they would still be the best in the game. I'll tell you why. Sports world has a whole this morning after what happened over the weekend. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports.
One of the best to ever do it. And in the conversation for best player of all time. That's how good Jim Brown was. He passed away at the age of 87, former first-round pick back in 1957, played 9 seasons for the Cleveland Browns. He led the league in rushing 8 of those years. Over 12,000 yards, 5.2 yards per carry over his career. And the thing with Jim Brown, too, is he's so much more than just a football player. And Brown was an advocate for modern athletes to be more involved in the black community. And you look at since his retirement, too, no Browns player has worn the number 32. He got his statue outside Brown Stadium back in 2016. And Ned, I know this one definitely close to you. You sent me a picture of you and Jim Brown when we were talking about this when the news came down that he passed away. And it is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. With J.J. Buckeye Marie, our quarterback, Ned James. Jim Brown was definitely one of those figures that was larger than life for so many people.
Absolutely. And like I said, you know, I got a chance, an opportunity to meet him while up there in Cleveland working with the Cleveland Browns. Personal in that it, you know, it touched home because Jim Brown, of course, the Syracuse legend, both in lacrosse and football and basketball and baseball. And I left when I was 2 years old, but I was born in Syracuse University Hospital, the old Archbold Stadium. Ben Schwartzwalder, who was his coach there at Syracuse. My dad talks about him all the time. The Savoy Restaurant, I talked to Jim Brown about the Savoy Restaurant where my dad worked several jobs, one of those being there, and he mentioned that he did remember the Savoy Restaurant. He would go there, which was down the street from Syracuse University. So there was a lot of things going on, you know, in the passing of Jim Brown. The fact that he was an activist, the fact that he was an actor too. One of the probably top 5 classic movies of all time, The Dirty Dozen, with Lee Marvin and Telly Savalas. And Jim Brown is an American classic, which Jim Brown went to acting after he was forced out of football by the Browns because he wouldn't show up for training camp because he was filming this movie. Just a legend, you know, arguably the greatest player of all time. I think in any conversation that you have about the greatest players of all time, Jim Brown's name is the first name that comes up. You know, we've got the modern day players, but you know, most of the guys who really, really watched and understood and talked to their parents about football realize what a great super athlete Jim Brown was. I know he had some problems domestically with women when he got a little trouble after playing, but definitely one of the big humanitarians in our country when it came to social justice and activism. He, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Russell, kind of sat in at the Cleveland Summit for Muhammad Ali when he refused to go to the Vietnam War, and also, I'm American, which was a program that Jim Brown represented for the United States and trying to help young people find their way. Just an all-around great human being, just nice guy. Was really nice to me when I got a chance to meet with him and talk with him up in Cleveland. I just think the rules of lacrosse having to be changed because of him. I mean, I know he said he loved lacrosse just as much as he loved football. Just one of the most, just a stellar athlete in all regards. Just a guy who's a lot of people remembered, and the great, running backs. Back in the day, Syracuse was considered running back U with Ernie Davis, Larry Zonka, Floyd Little, Jim Nance were great players that came out of Syracuse University after Jim Brown. But just, I know just talking to me, T.J. Trout called me Friday when it happened and talked a little bit on his show about just what Jim Brown meant and how the Cleveland Browns were just, America's team at that time when Jim Brown was just one of the greatest athletes to ever put on a uniform in America.
Yeah, and that's what, stands out to me is obviously Jim Brown was well ahead of my time, but when you hear people talk about certain athletes, and that's the difference. There's a lot of good players. There's a lot of stars across the board in every sport. But when you get to that superstar level, like those are the players that could play whenever. Like it's not just the style of game, not, today because they play a certain way. Like, and Jim Brown definitely falls into that conversation. You look at the numbers, and it's just eye-popping what he was able to do when the game of football, much different when he was playing, but he was still able to dominate in a way that everyone knew it was coming, and they couldn't stop this man on the football field. He averaged 104.3 yards per game, which is still the highest total of anyone in NFL history.
Yeah. And you still have to run the ball. Every era of football, you got to run the ball. You may not appreciate running backs as much as you appreciated them back then, but he was just a man amongst boys. And that's the stories you hear from your dads and from older people who talk about Jim Brown, is that he was literally in professional sports a man playing with boys because he was just so dominant and no one could really figure out how to stop him. It's just unfortunate that his career didn't last as long as it did, but he went out on his own terms, and that's what we're seeing now, the modern great athlete going out on their own terms.
9 years is still a heck of a career, especially when you're a running back and hit like that. From a history maker to someone that's trying to make history. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
There's a line drive right at the shortstop for out number 3.
Apodaca ripped to left field. That will bounce in, so it's going to be extra bases as they'll have to chase that one at the wall in the warning track. Flipped up, there's no play at home. So it's an RBI double for Andrew Apodaca. Runner at third. High leverage spot. Can Chavez keep the tie? No, that's going to be cracked into left field. It's a base hit as Love puts the Sandia Matadors ahead for the first time today.
The 0-2. Upstairs goes the backstop, and the run will not score. Gun down at home.
Chavez rocks and fires. Ahmed, that's going to be an RBI for Ahmed as that one right through the gap in right center. Petrie will scoop that one, and it's looking like a triple as Ahmed plugs into third base, and what a way to score that run for the Matadors.
Coach Romero barking out his orders there to his players. He's been around the game for a long time. Nice shot to center field. That'll bring runners in. Just like that, LaCueva will bring 3 runners in to go up 3-0. Runner advances to third. Shot to center. That looks good. That's gone. Man, outstanding center shot there. As LaCueva will score. Antonio Lucero, second baseman, quite the hitter. Shot to third, and good catch. And she gets the out. Outstanding play by Trinity Bazan. Nice bright spot.
Costly errors allowed Cleveland to get 1 run back. That one sent on the ground to the left side. Throw to first in time. Throw home. Got her. Whoa, what a play.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico
For 5 years running.
It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta, A. Marie Castillo, and JJ Bach.
A Murray flurry. What we saw game 2 in the third and fourth quarter. Game 3 in the first and second quarter. From Jamal Murray of the Denver Nuggets were 4 of the best quarters of postseason basketball you're ever going to see outside of the NBA Finals. ISO Murray. It's no longer Bubble Murray. It was ISO Murray for the Denver Nuggets, winning game 2, taking the heart away from the Lakers in the fourth quarter. Well, that was the Joker, but the tone was set in the first half. 30 points from Jamal Murray as the Denver Nuggets up 3-0 in the Western Conference Finals. Game 4 tonight. And can the Lakers salvage anything from this series? Because it's a team that they dug themselves out of a huge hole. They changed everything. And everyone loved the rotation. Now everyone's like, well, they're just not good enough because they're getting beat.
Yeah. You're right.
Everyone loved the Lakers until they're getting beat.
They were good until they got beat.
Maybe they're not good enough. Well, I don't know about it. Did everyone vote Rob Pelinka, D'Angelo Russell? They got shooters, Hachimura. Well, here you go. You got the Denver Nuggets team that they're not deeper than the Lakers, but you're seeing one unbelievable player.
I think
Jamal
this is
Murray.
the healthiest we've seen both of these teams. Yes. I was like, this is the most I've seen these players play, and like, I feel like forever.
The Nuggets, when they were last time they were healthy, they were in this situation. It was the Western Conference Finals. It was against the Lakers, and they weren't able to overcome that.
Well, it's not the bench and all that. The best 5 win. You know, there's only 5 guys on the court at a time for each team. So, you know, their 5 dudes are better than your 5 dudes, and that's what happens. You know, you just roll the ball out there, and we got dudes, you got dudes. Whose dudes are better? And right now, Denver.
And this is one too when you look at Anthony Davis, and I really thought that he took a step forward to where he was going to be that constant night in and night out. Is he should be a problem. He should be making Joker's life a lot harder than it is. And we're also talking about a Nuggets team that Joker was in foul trouble in Game 3. Like, everything was right there for the Lakers. And I'm still, like, I'm a Nuggets fan. I'm rooting for the Nuggets. But
I guess I don't understand where people are saying that Anthony Davis hasn't played well in these 3 games. He's played well all 3 games. Yeah. It's the supporting cast. It's not Anthony Davis
looking like he's 38 years old. It's D'Angelo Russell.
It's the other 4 guys.
Yeah. This series. Yes, and I've been more pro Anthony Davis this postseason. I think that is who he is. But still, to see what the Nuggets did in Game 3, it's a reminder of, oh yeah, that's the number 1 seed. This is a team that if you don't know, now you know. You should know, because the effort was incredible in that second half, because it really felt – I was worried. I'm like, all right, where's the rhythm going to come back for the Nuggets? You know, it was just Jamal Murray was fantastic, but they were just giving the ball to Jamal and scoring. And then when the Lakers started to crawl back in that game, Jokic is in foul trouble. I'm like, how are they going to get their rhythm back? What are they going to do? And they found a way to get their rhythm back.
Yeah. Well, you know, they're doubling Joker. They should double Murray. I mean, you know, you can't you got to leave Jokic. You got to single up Jokic. And if Murray's killing you, you know, well, I mean, you got to double him. You got to take the ball out of his hand. I mean, but then, you know, they're more concerned with Jokic than they are with Murray, and they're just letting Murray get his, and he's getting his. But even though they're doubling Joker, he's still getting his. And then you got Michael Porter, who there is no answer for on the Lakers. There's nobody over there that can answer for him. They tried to stick Rui on Jokic to and then let people just sag and help, but you know, they're just outmanned by each player that they have on the Denver Nuggets, and the Lakers are realizing that. And tonight, you know, it may be a clean sweep.
LeBron can't look old tonight.
He's gonna look old every night, because when you're 38, and you're running around with 24-year-olds, Michael Porter Jr. is 24. You know, you can't. You know, it's just
the worst thing that happened for the Lakers is when LeBron hit those back-to-back three-pointers.
I was like,
because then you're
not
like,
shoot
oh
him
my
anymore.
Goodness, he's not going to stop shooting. He hit back-to-back three-pointers.
Yeah.
And the Nuggets were like, yes, keep shooting that shot, LeBron.
Yeah, and yeah, we'll put you on the free throw line because you can't make free throws, LeBron. You're 50% on the free throw line. You're like Shaq.
Getting hurt
I mean,
from
it's
flopping.
you know it's just those little things, that you know when you're younger you can get away with a lot of stuff. LeBron can't hide a lot of things now at his older age, and it's showing, and that's okay. I mean, he's still a good player. It's just that they don't have enough. They don't have enough good players, and their role players are just role players, and just like Denver's role players are role players, but their role players are playing better than the Lakers' role players. So it's just the way it is.
Bruce Brown, KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. The Lakers know about that because he helped them win a championship in the bubble. 505-246-0610, 377 Brewery Hotline. Adolph, you're on The Sports Animal. Good morning, Adolph. How you doing?
Morning. Thanks for taking my call. You know, I was just kind of reminiscing, just listening to the commentary regarding Jimmy Brown. And the statistic that really stands out to me is that he gained 5.2 yards a carry through his career. And no other running back in the Hall of Fame has come close to that. That means every time he touches the ball, or every second time, statistically it's a first down. And we also have to remember that the hash marks were not in the same location on the gridiron when Jimmy Brown was playing. And that initially he was only playing 12, at the maximum 14 games a year. And so I've always thought, and I actually remember the Cleveland Browns winning the 1964 championship over the Baltimore Colts. And he's just the best running back that I've ever seen on the gridiron, and I'm 70 years old, and I've seen a lot of backs. The second observation, LeBron is still bothered by that ankle. And when you're 38 years old trying to play this game at the top level, an injury like that is going to slow you down and hinder your progress. And even though he may say that he's 100%, he's not. You can look at him and see that he doesn't have the same breakaway explosive speed that he once had. And essentially everybody gets old, and I remember telling my brother just yesterday, I can remember when Willie Mays was traded from the San Francisco Giants to the New York Mets, and I saw on television Willie Mays drop a routine fly ball to mid-center field. And that's when I knew that to say, hey, kid, it was time for him to say goodbye. Anyway, thanks for taking my call. I'm out.
Appreciate the phone call, Adolph. And, you know, we're conditioned differently because we're seeing guys play at a high level older now. And this is really the first series where you're like, oh, LeBron's, he's a 38-year-old. He's not able to bounce back as fast. Like, he's still playing at a pretty good level, but that's not the LeBron James level that we're expecting. And you're right. You see it. He's turned the ankle a couple times already in the first few games. He's on the floor behind the play, and that's a lot of basketball in that man's body.
Yeah, and he's played a long time, and he's going against younger, fresher guys. I mean, it's just tough when you got these young buck deer running around the court. You can't really keep up with them. And LeBron is in tip top. He's paid for the best fitness instructors. He's paid for the best masseuses, and he's had the steam rooms and all these other things. But at the end of the day, you still, it doesn't matter. That young guy who's been out partying all night, 4 hours of sleep, you're still not going to be able to outrun that guy. It doesn't matter. It's just age. There's no substitute for that youth and that speed, and that's what LeBron is facing.
505-246-0610. Manny, you're on the Sports Animal. What's up, Manny?
Good morning. Man, I'm a diehard Lakers fan, guys. And, at the end of the day, the role players are just playing better. And the Lakers are going through too many dry spells during the games where they're not scoring. They'll go 3, 4, 5 minutes without not scoring, going 0 for 12. You just cannot do that against Denver. You can't. Even though Denver sometimes struggles to score, you just can't do that. You can't do that in the NBA or in any type of basketball. Denver's just better than them. You got to give credit to where credit's due. Jamal Moore is playing above his head right now. He's always been a good player. Right now, you just can't stop him. And then, there are role players like Bruce Brown. That guy couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat when he was with Jersey, and now he's just playing above his head. Michael Porter's hitting. There's really nothing we could do right now. D'Angelo Russell is just not hitting shots when he's supposed to. But I'll tell you this. They better sign Austin Reeves. They better sign him. Can't give away young talent anymore over there in L.A. Have a good day, guys. Be safe.
Yeah, Manny. And that's, I think a thing that a lot of Laker fans are like, man, because this team, they were looking so good. And what they did kind of mid-season to flip the roster, it dug them out of a huge hole. But then you're seeing, D'Angelo Russell go missing in action this series, and how is he not playable against the Denver Nuggets? That's a huge question that they have to.
That's a good question, but there's a reason why he's been on 3 different teams, and you're starting to see it now. When he first came to the Lakers, everybody, the first round draft pick, he's back. He just needed to be with the Lakers. I don't think so. Those other guys are trying to win too. So you are who you are. And so we're starting to see just who he really is. And unfortunately, it's just not enough to help the Lakers get over that hump. And he can't play defense enough to single him up on Murray or one of those kind of guys. And so he's just out there just being D'Angelo Russell. So don't fault him for being D'Angelo Russell.
He's just being D-Russ out there.
He's just being D-Russell.
On the floor. D-Ham, does he have an answer? LeBron thinks, they could make some history. But Game 4 tonight, Lakers down 3-0. Continue to take your calls, 505-246-0610 377 Brewery Hotline. Also, the Sports Animal text line. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle. Blindster.
Not sure, but they came out here, and Ellison cracks an RBI out to left field. That's where you got to do it. 1 run, 2 run, and this game could very well be over. It's a play at the plate. It's sliding, and that will do it. The Rams.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Check it out. What is it? It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future and get my paycheck early. I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine. Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes. Wait, what?
Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about. We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been.
Use theme this morning, making it official. Carmelo Anthony. He hasn't played in a little while, but he is officially hanging it up. Announces this morning his retirement from professional basketball. 19 seasons, over 28,000 points, 10-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA player, gold medalist. And I know Carmelo Anthony is one of those players that he's on the cusp. And he never won an NBA championship. So he's never going to be viewed as one of the all-time greats. And won a national championship in Syracuse. But Carmelo Anthony, I hope he is involved if the Denver Nuggets do indeed go to the NBA Finals. I want to see Carmelo Anthony in that building. You saw George Karl at Game 2. He was a big part of the Nuggets becoming relevant again. And that relevancy started with Carmelo Anthony. And, he's one of those players that he's on the fence for a lot of people. He's not a champion. Was he really that good? Score, not much more than that, but he's one of the best scorers of this era, of the last 20 years, was Carmelo Anthony, and he made the Nuggets relevant. When the Denver Nuggets drafted Carmelo Anthony, their franchise started to turn around. They became competitive. They went to the playoffs. They had a Western Conference Finals appearance with Carmelo Anthony on that team, and then he wanted to go big, had the trade to New York, and saw what happened after that. Never could achieve the feats in New York that he did in Denver. But Carmelo Anthony is a fantastic player. He helped me like the Denver Nuggets again, instead of having watched them, whether it was Rafe LaFrentz and whatever mess they were throwing out there, got them competitive. And I hope to see him around the NBA Finals. If the Nuggets get the job done, if they are able to finish off the Lakers, whether it's tonight, Game 5 with that 3-0 series lead, he's definitely someone that needs to be welcomed back in Denver, because he put the franchise back heading in the right direction.
Yeah, he was a nice ambassador for basketball to the community of Denver. But at the same time, he took that. He was from New York. Guys want to go home. He kind of took the bait when it came to trying to make himself relevant in the world of basketball. It felt like maybe being out in Denver didn't make him as relevant as he really should be. And sometimes guys just take the bait. And where happiness sometimes isn't always greener. There are greener pastures elsewhere, where a lot of guys believe that leaving your original team to a bigger city is going to produce greater fruits. And in this case, it didn't for Carmelo. All it did was kind of make him become some sort of villain to a lot of people, because the whole thing with him was that he wouldn't play defense, and so that's why he wanted to go somewhere where he could be the star, so he could just shoot all the time. And some of those things these labels get put on you unfairly. I think it might have been with him in some case, but just a tremendous player. I'm from Syracuse, and all my friends, we always talk that I know that are from Syracuse, and that love the orange. Really hold him in high esteem with a lot of the greats that played at Syracuse. And yes, truly an NBA icon. So we'll see down the road if he's done enough to put him in the throes of the Hall of Fame.
He's the NBA Hall of Famer. Now there's definitely, as you said with Carmelo Anthony, like a level that he didn't get to, and a lot of people, he wasn't great defensively, never won a championship, and that's understandable. But you look at his basketball career, and it's always frustrating when you have to go to gold medals for someone in their basketball
the most gold
resume.
medals. He's got the most, yeah.
But the championship at Syracuse too, as a freshman, he was fantastic on that team. But Carmelo Anthony hanging it up officially this morning. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck-Amory, our quarterback, Ned James. Also catch us on ProView Networks, 505-246-0610 and 377 Brewery Hotline. David, you're on The Sports Animal. Good morning, David.
A couple of questions. Ultimately, how good have the Lakers actually been over the last 5 years? I understand LeBron and the ratings darling, media magnet, fan favorite, branded team. The Lakers have gotten a star. But technically, how good have ultimately they been, even with him? Years ago, they lost, and the argument was that they were injured. So the next question is, well, solve the problem by not getting injured, right? Yet they hire who, and I don't know who they went after. I guess that was the latest round of this revamp. But in all honesty, how good have they been? And the reason I say that is because ultimately stars, I think, are the wrong thing. I think they cater too much attention to stars. As far as older players like Brown, had he gone on, Bradshaw ultimately left sooner than people thought he should. He wanted to go out on top. The older players like Manning and Brady, I think they, because of their stardom, don't realize and get the appreciation for how bad they were later on. I think the quarterback or the player NFL who actually played well into their later years was Warren Moon. And ultimately, the question is, stat-wise, how good are players judged for their performance over and above their star power?
Well, to answer your question, the star power, whether we're talking about the Lakers or the Cowboys or the Yankees, we're always going to, the narrative, the fan bases, they're always going to have higher expectations regardless of what the actual team is doing. And how good have the Lakers been over the last 3-4 years, over the LeBron James era? Not as good as they expected to be.
Well, they won a title, though.
They won an NBA championship.
Yes.
They're in the
Let's not
Western
forget
Conference
that
Finals.
That little thing called a title.
In the bubble, championship still counts. You know why?
That's right.
Every single one of those teams went through the exact same thing.
That's right.
To play that season, to play that playoff, to play that championship. So that's not diminished because every single one of those teams did the exact same thing. I think that it's been good, probably not as good as you expect when you bring in LeBron James even at the end. But the LeBron James conversation, too, it's going to be interesting because this is really the first all-time great. LeBron James is an all-time great that we've seen be successful in this many stops. I was thinking back, too, on this, Ned, and we saw Tom Brady win a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers. It's kind of a similar path, great doing something different. But we're talking Cavs, Heat, and Lakers. And for LeBron James, how is this going to be viewed? Because I was thinking back, and when you think about all-time greats, who else has done it? Because we don't even think about Shaq winning a title with the Heat. We still think, Shaq and it's Lakers, or Kobe and the Lakers, Michael Jordan and his Bulls. But then you start thinking back, well, there's players that have, it's kind of, you have Charles Barkley, Philadelphia, Phoenix, but he never won a championship. And that's what is really interesting about LeBron James in this run, because has it been a success? The answer is yes. Has it been as good as people expected with LeBron? I think you could also say no, but there's 2 years where it's AD and LeBron kind of going back to back on not being healthy. But I know all-time great Laker, no. A lot of Laker fans are going to say that about LeBron James. How do you view what we've seen out of LeBron in this Lakers run?
Well, but the thing with LeBron is, people always want to dismiss the other championships that he's won with other teams, and you can't do that. I mean, even if you're a Laker fan and you love all your Lakers that have won, he's still, with his championships, he's right up there with those Laker greats. And people don't want to give him his due because he came from somewhere else. He wasn't necessarily what they considered homegrown, and so that's why the Laker faithful will abandon him in droves once this conference finals is over with. You can say what you want. I'm a LeBron fan because of what he's done as a humanitarian, as a civil rights activist, a social justice warrior. I like him for those reasons, and being an all-time great. Along with that, a lot of times, we don't give guys extra kudos for what they do outside of their particular sports, and I think LeBron is a champion in that regard. So we really must give him his kudos for that. But Laker fans, they're fickle. They don't really care for certain guys because they don't fit into, like you said, the old men, us old guys, JJ. That's we just want things the way they used to be. We just can't get over the fact that there's no more LPs and there's digital music now. We just can't get over the fact that you can't hear that crackling sound when you put the needle on the record. And so instead of saying that we just can't stand that, we try to poke holes in the new generation's advancements. So and LeBron fits into that, and I think that's why he gets criticized a lot because of that and that advancement that he's made. But I think the caller was really just kind of trying to see where the Lakers, they're probably a disappointed, disgruntled fan because of the fact that they're down 0-3. But
I don't know. I think kind of David's point was, are the Lakers one of those overhyped teams just because they're Lakers? Well, they got to the Western Conference Finals, and they looked pretty good on their way to the Western Conference Finals. It's just they're running into the number 1 seed. And what the Denver Nuggets are doing that second half in Game 3 was a different Nuggets team. The effort to outwork the Lakers. They took the Lakers' hearts away in that fourth quarter.
You got to give Mike Malone credit. But
yes,
you got to give Mike Malone credit. I mean, that New York City, tough, Brooklyn, I walk and I talk and I come from New York. I'm just going to, I'm going to punch you in the face, all that talking and that tough demeanor that New Yorkers have. I think that team is a kind of a reflection of him. I mean, he's in your face. I mean, even in his interviews, he's in your face, and I like it. I like the fact that he's putting himself out there. He's challenging
back on
the media people with, "Hey, you guys are promoting the Lakers." Yeah, and I like that. I liked him from the first time, JJ, you got me starting to watch the Denver Nuggets, and I saw him make Jokic run up and down the floor, and Jokic was heading over to the bench with his hand up, and he said, "No, stay in the game." He made him get in shape, and that's why Jokic is as tough as he is.
It's that Rocky Long philosophy. Oh, you think you want to come out of the game,
that's
Mr.
right.
Running back?
Exactly.
Nope. Go in there and take that hand up. And speaking of players and setting the tone, we do have to reverse a little bit because I want to talk about what happened between Jimmy Butler and Grant Williams. And it was easy to clown on Grant Williams and the Boston Celtics, but you know what? At least the dude was trying. I'll tell you why. This isn't Dylan Brooks 2.0 when we're talking about Grant Williams. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Rocky Mountain Roofing uses a drone with a special camera to...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Check it out. What is it? It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early. I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine. Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes. Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
So we're talking about players, moments, rising to the occasion. What's needed and when? I want to go back to game 2. Boston and Miami. Fourth quarter, the Celtics had a lead at home. But then, the moment. Grant Williams stranded three-pointer to give the Celtics a 96-87 lead with 6 minutes and 37 seconds left. On his way back down the floor, Williams began jawing at Jimmy Butler, who proceeded to smile and then respond, hitting his next shot. He was fouled by Williams. It was a three-point play. After that basket, they're head-to-head. They're going at it. Double technicals. Here we go. And Jimmy Butler and the Heat go on to win that game. And Jimmy Butler, post-game, discussed that moment and what it meant.
It makes me key in a lot more, and it pushes that will that I have to win a lot more, and it makes me smile. It does. When people talk to me, I'm like, okay, I know I'm a decent player if you want to talk to me out of everybody that you can talk to.
Now, after that moment, the Miami Heat took total control of that game. And then people are pointing at Grant Williams, what are you doing? Why would you do that? Your team's in the lead. And immediately the comparison started. Dillon Brooks. And what we saw with Dillon Brooks going at LeBron James, don't poke the bear. But I don't feel the same way as I did with Dillon Brooks as I do Grant Williams. You know why? Because the Celtics needed a bite. The Celtics are sitting there. Yeah, they have the lead in the fourth quarter, but they're also a team that we've seen lose those leads, just like they did in game 1 and not getting the job done in the second half. And I don't feel the same way about Grant Williams going after Jimmy Butler. And everyone will point out, well, you ain't that guy, Grant Williams. Don't do that. You poked the wrong bear, just as Dillon Brooks did. But I'm looking at a Celtics team that I don't see Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown this series stepping up. I don't see anyone with that fight. And I don't feel as bad about Grant Williams in that moment, trying to spark his team to close out the Miami Heat. Now, what happened? It did not go their way. They did not play well the final 6.5 minutes. Was it just because Grant Williams went at Jimmy Butler? Because I think regardless, you're going to get that from Jimmy Butler, whether Grant Williams went at him or not. When you see something like that in a game, it's an easy moment to look at and say, well, Grant Williams, you just lost your team in the game. I don't feel that way at all. I think he was just the one dude that was trying to light a fire for his team to finish in the fourth quarter. J.J. Bucket-Murray, Ned James. When you see a moment like that, Ned, on the floor, a guy going at it, and it's not necessarily the guy, but it felt like Grant Williams was trying to just get the Celtics to finish. And he said, I'm going to poke the bear, and unfortunately the bear bit his legs off.
Yeah, and those things happen through the course of a game. I don't know if it's pre-planned or, it just with the intensity of the game, and guys are, fighting as hard as they can to finish. And, sometimes those things happen. Those little altercations, happen. And, fortunate or unfortunate for your team, it goes one way or the other. Unfortunately for the Celtics, it went the other way. Jimmy Butler got hot. I don't know if it necessarily motivates great players. I think great players are just, naturally self-motivated. So I don't know if it necessarily got in this goat. Even with Dylan Brooks and LeBron, I mean, you're a professional. You're going to play, your best, and, you're going to try to do all you can. I don't think someone, necessarily getting under your skin makes you play that much better, because you want to play better. You kind of want to focus, and like these guys say, it kind of makes you lock in a little bit more. I don't know if necessarily it does that for some guys. It may do it for some and not others. But in this case, Butler, was able to kind of, bring his team to a victory.
Enjoyed it. He's definitely the player that doesn't need it, because he's going to be that guy regardless. But it was one of those moments that people are pointing to with the Boston Celtics and going, this is why it's different for this team this year. What is the difference? Well, of course, you look at the head coach. I don't feel the same way about that moment. Grant Williams going at Jimmy Butler. I get it if you want to say, well, you're not that dude, Grant Williams. Well, who's been that dude for the Celtics? They don't have that guy right now. They don't have someone stepping up, taking over the game in the fourth quarter. They look lost in late game situations right now against the Miami Heat. Grant Williams trying to spark them. It didn't work out, and now they're in a huge hole, 3-0. And it is a little different. And we saw the Nuggets run away from the Lakers in Game 3, but the Celtics got blued out. And when you get Magic Johnson, the Mr. Say everything positive, never say a bad word, when you get Magic Johnson on Twitter going, man, you quit, you did something wrong.
Yeah, that's hard, man. When you use the word quit, boy, that really slaps players right in the face. They don't like to hear the fact that it appears that they're quitting. That's a strong term in their mind. I just think, you get outplayed, and then all of a sudden you just lose confidence, and the other team is just, they're gaining confidence. There's bench players hitting threes from the rafters coming in for the Miami Heat. I mean, guys you never even heard of playing out of their minds, and that's what confidence does for you. That's what, feeling good about, where you are, and then having a comfortable enough lead where you can take those kind of shots. And you kind of get a little tight, you're down 2-0, you're the Celtics, you have that tradition behind you, and it can tighten you up, and pressure bursts pipes. So, I mean, you can feel that pressure and just not be able to respond to the pressure. And I think that's what the Celtics are going through right now.
505-246-0610. That is a 377 Brewery Hotline, the sports animal text line. So how much can a coach of a certain side of the football, whether it's a defensive coach, an offensive coach, really have an effect if that person is a head coach on the future of a franchise? One former NFL quarterback thinks he might know why we've seen some of the recent high draft picks at the quarterback position struggle to start their career. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the sports animal.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Check it out. What is it? It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early. I already get my paycheck early at U.S. Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with U.S. Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with U.S. Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from U.S. Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
The Sports Animal.
We've talked a lot this morning about the player-coach dynamic. When do players take over versus the impact of a coach? And it's different based on the sport. Maybe you're looking at more player-dominated, player-oriented things when we're talking about basketball. But how does that apply to football? And as we look forward in the AFC next season, it is going to be an unbelievable race to get to the playoffs. The quarterback class in the AFC, it is pretty darn good. But one former quarterback has a thought as to why some of these young quarterbacks just don't quite get it going early in their career. It's the opening drive. JJ Buck Amory, our quarterback Ned James, with you this morning here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. And Alex Smith is that quarterback, and he was on Sirius XM NFL radio, and he said this. I want to throw this nugget out there to our quarterback, Ned James. He said, there's a different mentality for my career when you play for an offensive head coach that wants to light up the scoreboard and outscore their opponent. Then there is a mentality where you have a young quarterback with a defensive head coach, when the coach's mentality is, hey, don't screw it up, don't turn the ball over, don't put us in a bad situation. That's a huge difference in the mentality and the mindset for a young quarterback, especially it's a bit of a rocky start. And Alex Smith was discussing the Zach Wilsons of the world playing for Robert Saleh and how the New York Jets are composed. And you've been in that league, Ned. You've coached in the NFL. Is that a fair assessment from Alex Smith? It's a young quarterback versus their head coach, and could that really affect the development of a young guy?
Absolutely not. Alex could be more wrong than any person I've ever been around. And you know me, JJ. You know what I'm going to say. Offense is how you sell tickets. Defense is how you win games. Special teams is how you win championships. And Alex Smith could be more wrong than no more wrong than any person I've ever listened to talk about football as a coach. First of all, he's a player, and offensive players, particularly skilled guys, that's why most guys would rather coach defense than to coach offense, because guys on offense tend to be more arrogant, more self-absorbed, more into thinking, like Alex Smith, that he understands defense, that he understands the teachings of defense, and that he knows more about defense and what defensive coaches are thinking than defensive coaches. Hold on to the ball, don't turn it over, yada, yada, yada. Well, I happen to disagree. You got over more than, because this recency bias with all these offensive coaches winning Super Bowls. But if you go over the last 20 years, defensive head coaches have won more Super Bowls than offensive coaches. So, and I've been in situations where, and particularly in Tennessee, where we had Steve McNair, where I heard, the guys were just brutal to Steve McNair as a quarterback. Even though the head coach is a defensive guy, he had to fire the offensive staff and the quarterback's coach and bring in new ones because they mistreated him as a rookie. And so it doesn't matter if it's a defensive or offensive coach. What matters most is the chemistry between the head coach and the quarterback. It doesn't matter if he's an offensive or defensive guy. You have to have chemistry. It takes an entire team. It's not just Alex Smith, I'm the quarterback, so I know more. And I've worked on both sides of the ball. And so offensive guys think they know defense, and they don't really understand defense. And defensive guys don't really understand offense in a lot of ways. When you're teaching and you're trying to coach, it's two different models. And I think Alex is getting confused in thinking that just because the head coach is a certain way, the quarterback's going to develop a certain way. And that's not necessarily true. The quarterbacks develop based on the offensive coach, the quarterback's coach, the coaching staff. They're going to develop that quarterback. And so I think he's just misguided. Maybe he'd ever had a defensive head coach before. I don't know. I think he had Harbaugh, and then he had Andy Reid. And so then he went to Washington, and he had Ron Rivera, and so I guess he's basing it off of being around Ron Rivera, and he's judging all defensive coaches based off of his experience with Ron Rivera. But he's terribly misguided, and I just think that he just had that one bad experience, and he's kind of generalizing defensive coaches as a result of that.
It is interesting, though, when you look at this year's quarterback class, those top 3 quarterbacks and who their head coaches are going into next season, because it goes to what you talked about, the style that some of these NFL teams are trying to get to right now. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all.
Check it out. What is it? It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early. I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine. Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes. Wait, what? Seth?
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
and act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from U.S. Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with three-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta, A. Marie Castillo, and JJ Buck.
Well, that three-time dude is going to get you some inside information on college athletics. Symbieta a little busy with Conference USA stuff, so we're holding it down. Western Conference Finals, Eastern Conference Finals 3-0. Unbelievable performances by the better team. And that is the point. The better team is ahead in these series. And the dynamics in there from the coaching to the players, it's been fascinating. And it also led to a question about NFL quarterbacks. And so far this morning, Ned James has railed on golf. He has railed on cheerleading. He just went off on Alex Smith. But you do have one person in your corner so far. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610. The Sports Animal, JJ Buck, A. Marie, our quarterback. Ned James with you this morning. And you're speaking on Alex Smith, who he's a quarterback. He's an offensive guy. He was discussing some of the young quarterbacks in the league, and he thinks maybe a reason why someone, say, like Zach Wilson, the most recent one, struggled early is because he was paired with a defensive head coach. And Ned just said that's nonsense because it's about the coordinator. It's about the offensive coordinator, that relationship there in player development. And I think it's a fascinating conversation because we've seen the trend in the NFL recently is everything geared towards the offense, is not just trying to find that quarterback because we know how important that position is, but also the offensive head coach in it. And I think this year, just like many of the years, but when you look at the top three quarterbacks selected, what did Carolina do? They went out and got a veteran offensive coach, Frank Reich, to pair with their number one overall pick, Bryce Young. Houston's going to be the interesting one because you got DeMarco Ryans. You got a young defensive-minded coach, but he's got C.J. Stroud. And then Indianapolis, they brought over Shane Steichen from Philadelphia. Their OC just worked with Jalen Hurts, and he gets Anthony Richardson. But it's not just about the head coach, Ned. It's about the players and then their OC and quarterback coaches.
Absolutely. I mean, when you're, it's just quarterbacks think that they're so special that they get, dibs on everything. They think quarterback should be the head coach. They think quarterbacks should be the defensive coordinator. They think quarterback should be the GM and the owner. And it's just not the case. It's just not how teams are structured, not how teams are built. You're going to have good years. You're going to have bad years with players. You're going to have, times when you have great receivers, when you just have guys. I mean, we went to the AFC Championship game in Tennessee. We had Drew Bennett, Derek Mason, and Justin McCarron. We had guys that weren't even drafted, and guys who were drafted later than the fourth round be the star players on the team. So you just never know. And defensively, we're number one defensive against the run, but we were last against the pass. So it's mainly the one thing I've always noticed in football, and that's on every level. It doesn't matter high school. I tell guys all the time, high school, college, pro. There's high school guys that if an NFL head coach went to a high school, he'd get beat 100-0 by some of these high school coaches. If the playing field is level, if they're playing high school football. So it just all depends on the chemistry of the quarterback with the head coach. I always say that even when we're talking football during the season, JJ, the chemistry between the head coach and that quarterback is critical in the NFL. They have to get along. And it doesn't matter, what side of the ball that head coach is on. The quarterback is instrumental in clock management and not turning the ball over and all those kind of things. So it's important from both sides. So I think what Alex Smith is mainly speaking to is just a player's perspective. The fact that he had been involved with 3 different teams, and the last team where he had the least amount of success was in Washington, and that was a defensive coach.
That's a pretty great story, though, in Washington for Alex Smith to come back and do what he did after that. But it's interesting. It's one of those things, too, in the offseason when you look at where the league is trending with the young quarterbacks, people putting out just the philosophies on the coaching, and we've talked plenty about coaching, especially when we're looking at these conference finals in the NBA. Is Joe Mazzulla in over his head with the Celtics? Is Darvin Ham an issue? We haven't really said anything about Darvin Ham because the Lakers and Celtics, the way they're down 3-0 is a bit different. And Travis wants to get in on the NBA. Travis, you're on the Sports Animal. What's up, man?
Good morning, fellas. Look, we got the great Ned James in the building and the unflappable JJ Buck. It's a good day. It's star-studded this morning. Meanwhile, Jeff's on vacation, I'm sure, golfing it up. Look, I heard he gets a lot of time off, so he takes a lot of time off.
Heard that as well.
But I really hope he's swinging it well today. I do want to apologize to the great Ned James for David's take in the last hour. I mean, look, he came in here talking about how bad LeBron has been for the Lakers, how he's just some sort of media obsession, how the Lakers are a media obsession. Let's be very clear. We have to be honest. Only one team currently playing in the conference finals has won an NBA championship in the last decade, and that's the Lakers. And that's because LeBron James joined the squad in 2000, he joined the squad in the 2019 season, and 1 year later took them to the promised land. By the way, there's another team playing in the conference finals who won an NBA championship just a little over a decade ago, and that's the Miami Heat. You want to know what the Lakers and the Miami Heat have in common?
LeBron
Their
James.
NBA championship came from LeBron James. 2 teams currently in the conference finals owe their last NBA championship to LeBron James. And by the way, if we're going to talk about the last 4 years that LeBron has been with the Lakers, and you're going to blame, whatever lack of success that they've had recently on LeBron James, let's also talk about the elephant in the room. There has been some really bad GM work. Rob Pelinka deserves a lot of responsibility for the teams that have been assembled around LeBron James over the last few years. From that old folks home squad that they put together a couple of years ago, which would have been a squad that would have been incredible in 2009, but didn't look very good when they assembled it. It was a team that had, Carmelo Anthony and the other old geezers who got day passes from the retirement home. But I will say Rob Pelinka gets a lot of credit for turning this year around with the trades at the deadline. But, look, David, we can't bring the great Ned James in here while Jeff is hitting the links and come in with a take like that. Ned deserves better. Be better. Anyway, you guys have a great day. I will say the Nuggets are the best team playing right now in the conference finals. And I feel like it's theirs to lose. You guys take care.
Travis coming in hot on a Monday.
He's not wrong about LeBron James.
No.
A lot of people are tired about LeBron, but that dude still sets the tone.
Yes, he does.
And his team is in the Western Conference Finals, and it's been the assertiveness of Anthony Davis. And it's allowed LeBron to take a little bit of a step back. He has to. He's 38 years old. But what we're seeing in this series is the better team is ahead, and that is the Denver Nuggets. Rudy, you're on the Sports Animal. What's going on, Rudy?
Hey, big weekend in sports. And before I say anything, Jim Brown was second to none. My team was the Colts when I was a kid, and it hurt to watch that guy run all over them in the championship game. But he was like no other running back I've seen. There's a handful. You got Tony Dorsett, you got Emmitt Smith, you got people like that. But Jim Brown always seemed to be a little above them. So that's a shame, but we're all getting older. On some exciting news, the Lobos are just 8 strokes out of making the finals of the tournament. And, when you hear low-resource schools, things like that, New Mexico's always had outstanding golf, and I'm just really excited. Hopefully they can get into match or stroke play today. And would it be match play, I guess? Is that what it would be if they win today?
Because I know
they make up 8 strokes. They're sitting in right outside the top 15.
Because I know the women
championship round
just did that as they advanced to the stroke play championship, and I think that's exactly what the men are trying to do as well.
Yeah, and the men are on that same golf course this week, and I wish Phoenix was a little closer because I'd go out there and watch them. But congratulations to both those teams because they're fighting championship in women's golf, and men have a shot. So that's really outstanding work, and I really appreciate the work that these golfers do here. And you look at their grade point average. I mean, they're all about 4.0. That's where Ned was, right? Ned, you were a 4.0 when you were there.
Absolutely, 4.1 to be exact.
So congratulations to them. Let's see if they can sneak in the national championship round tomorrow.
Appreciate the call, Rudy. Now, a lot of good stuff going on with the Olympic sports at UNM, the golf teams doing a lot of work. But, you did reference cheerleading a little bit earlier when you were just destroying golf, destroying cheerleading. Now, someone sport on the text line said, Ned James dropping facts. Cheerleading isn't a sport. Talk to any UNM athlete who had to share a gym space with the UNM cheerleaders. A lot of workouts resting on yoga balls.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. It sounds like maybe the cheerleader just said no to you.
I sparked a nerve. I better be careful. My daughter may be listening. I hope she's not listening because she'll really get on me. But, yes, golf, great sport, recreation, whatever you want to call it.
We'll edit that out. We'll edit that out when we put it on the pod.
Yes, please.
505-246-0610, 377 Brewery Hotline. Also, the Sports Animal text line this morning. When you have players talking to each other, you get gold. And Charles Barkley had another great nugget for you last night as Gabe Vincent, the Heat guard who had 29 points, trying to play it cool, but Barkley called him out. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Jim Rowe.
Y'all remember Javi Baez, the slick fielding?
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're #1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all.
Check it out. What is it? It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth? We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact.
It's not just Jimmy Butler and a bunch of scrubs. Bam Adebayo, the defensive player of the year candidate, lottery pick, like that dude's legit. They got a fantastic duo. Now the stories of the other guys, yeah, you got undrafted free agents, Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, Caleb Martin. All three of those dudes went undrafted in 2019. Duncan Robinson undrafted in 2018, and they found their way to the Miami Heat. And that's part of the Heat culture. That's part of the dynamic in playing with Jimmy Butler. Now, this team, while undrafted, they're not a bunch of scrubs. And they put that on full display yesterday, blowing the Celtics out the built to take a 3-0 series lead. 128-102 was the final. Jaylen Brown, the Celtics wing, called their performance embarrassing. Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla, is he in over his head? That's what everyone's talking about. What is missing from the Celtics team? But they overcame adversity against the Philadelphia 76ers, but I guess it's different when it's James Harden on the floor than Jimmy Butler in these situations. JJ Buckeye-Murray, our quarterback, Ned James, with you on the opening drive and ProView Networks. Now, Ned, what I love about getting to work with you or Nick Rothbato calling games, there is a different edge when you have former players involved in the conversation. You know, whether it's talking with coaches or players, sometimes you get a little bit different answers, and you might feel differently about being able to talk about certain things at times. And that was clearly evident yesterday on TNT. They got the Eastern Conference Finals. Gabe Vincent went to interview with the guys post-game, and he was trying to play the, hey, let's keep it focused one game at a time thing, and Charles Barkley was having none of that.
Closeout game in my little experience.
Charles Barkley was saying, look at this tape, Gabe. That team absolutely laid down and wasn't well coached. And that's Charles. The beauty of Barkley and that TNT crew. You get that moment, but that's what we're looking at in this series, Ned, right now. Is it just a coach in over his head right now?
Well, it's tough. You know, you got a championship team that you inherit from a guy for what the guy was doing, and so it's a little tough because the players are looking at the coaching staff like, hey, you guys didn't know, you know. So it's tough. It's tough for a younger coach to come into that situation with players, you know, not too far in age from him, and get them, you know, to kind of go out and fight the way maybe the last coach did. But you know, they made it this far. It's tough. They run into a buzzsaw in Miami. Charles is going to be Charles. He's going to say the outrageous because he picked the Celtics, and he said the Celtics would win, and he guaranteed it that they would win today, last night, and they didn't. So he had to pivot quick. Yeah, he pivots quick now. I tell you, he does a good. You know, the older he gets, the quicker he pivots. So, I mean, and that's okay because that's entertainment. He's pretty much made that TNT show. So, but it's unfortunate for the Celtics, but it just looks like Miami's on their way to a finals.
And on the way to the finals, we'll see Game 4 tonight. Can the Nuggets sweep their way to the NBA Finals? What can the Lakers salvage out of this series. And Carmelo Anthony officially hung it up today. And Carmelo Anthony hasn't played in a little bit, but he officially retired from basketball today. And another just interesting piece in this Carmelo Anthony journey with the Denver Nuggets is one of the picks that the Denver Nuggets acquired from the New York Knicks and that Carmelo Anthony trade ended up being the 7th pick they used to select Jamal Murray. So Carmelo Anthony, who I give,
That's crazy, by the way.
just how things work out. Carmelo Anthony, his basketball resume is one that a lot of people will say good but not great because he never won a championship. But I think Carmelo Anthony is a huge part of this last 20 years of NBA basketball. Now, it's just basketball. He won a national championship at Syracuse. He was fantastic getting USA basketball back on the map of getting those guys to care about playing in the Olympics. And we saw those teams with Carmelo, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, like just rolling through everybody once again, the redeem team that we saw. And for the Denver Nuggets, he brought respectability to that franchise. He put them on a path to where they expected to win games. They competed to win games. They went to a Western Conference Finals. Now, they lost to the Lakers team in the Western Conference Finals with Carmelo Anthony. So I give him a ton of credit for what he did. Now, at the end, he decided he wanted to go back to the East Coast. He wanted to go play for the New York Knicks. And you know what? The Nuggets got a lot out of that trade. Not only did they get the pick, which ended up being Jamal Murray, who is a big catalyst of what they're doing right now as they try to get their first NBA Finals appearance, but it helped them be competitive even after Carmelo Anthony, the players that they got in that trade. And also, Ned, it's starting to put to bed that 2003 draft class, which was a game changer for this era of basketball as well. Because in 2003, the number 1 overall pick was one LeBron James.
Yes.
Number 2, Darko Milicic. Detroit. What could have been. Now, they won an NBA championship after that, though. That Billups, Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace crew in that stretch. But after that, it was the 3rd overall pick with Carmelo Anthony. The 4th overall pick was Chris Bosh. And the 5th overall pick was Dwayne Wade. And boy, did all 4 of those 5 players changed the last 20 years of the NBA.
Yes, and that rarely happens, and so it's really great to see these guys play as long as they did. All of them played quite a while, except for Darko, and for them to turn out and be as productive as they were. It's just a testament to the draft. You don't get picked in that first round because you're some slug. Most guys can play. I mean, it's, with injuries and not fitting in, chemistry, those kind of things can hurt. But I tell you what, there's a reason why guys get drafted in the first round. Those guys are spending a lot of money on scouting and our kid, got scouted on the 3-9 football team and got drafted. So, the draft is really thorough. People, they ask and talk around, and so you're going to find out who the best are, and the cream really does rise to the top. And so, in most cases, these players work out, and in this case, these 3 guys did.
505-246-0610, the 377 Brewery Hotline, the Sports Animal text line this morning. What are NFL players doing? Saturday mornings, I know what they're doing because they're obviously listening to name 3 players. Because you gotta know, y'all.
No!
There's a line. And is it going to happen again? Are we going to see some more dudes on the sidelines because they can't stop placing bets? It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Jim Rome.
When Dylan Brooks referred to LeBron James as old, he was just...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We've been ready for a good time.
There's some things you just can't do. And it's pretty simple. There's rules. You might question, well, if you're going to take money from this person, if you're going to take money from that, why can't you do it? Well, there's a time and place for everything. We saw some players already get caught for placing bets. Now, it wasn't on their sport necessarily. If we're talking about Jameson Williams, who's a high-profile former first-round pick last year, the Detroit Lions. He was amongst a group of players that got suspended from betting while at a team facility. So you're sitting there, online sports books. It's a thing across a lot of the country. Sports betting is legal. But just like everything, there's still rules from your employer. And here we go again, and it's only the tip of the iceberg. And we just talked about it a couple weeks ago with college athletes. There's zero wiggle room right now for college athletes. You cannot bet on anything, not just nothing. Is it fair? Well, that's the rules right now. And then talk about it if you want moving forward. You got to know what you can or cannot do. And here we are again, as reports are the NFL is looking at another potential wave of players that could be suspended for potential violations of its gambling policy. Multiple sources told ESPN. And it's one, you just got to know what you can and cannot do. If you don't think it's fair, well, then address it. Bring it up in a rules meeting. In the next CBA, be like, hey, we should be able to gamble on non-NFL things or be able to do this or that. figure it out. But right now, you know what you can or cannot do. And I guess, Marie, you are just getting too many people to bet on sports. As they listen to
I
Name
don't
3
enable and I encourage responsible gambling. It's unreal to me. I don't care if it's gambling, cannabis, steroids, whatever it be, whatever you're not allowed to do. I don't care what it is legal in the outside world. You're not supposed to do it.
Seems pretty simple, but it's not at times.
Okay, well, you shouldn't break the rules. I'm sure there's Ned James. We have the perfect guy here. I'm sure there's a list of a lot of things you can't do, and you just can't do it.
Oh, we made it this far, and now he's muted.
Oh no!
No, I'm sorry. Anytime you walk, I'm sorry. I do that every now and then. Anytime you walk into an NFL building, you have these big, gigantic, ginormous signs, and all clubs have them, and it lists all the things you're not allowed to do as an NFL employee. And players, they have it when they walk in the building, and they have it in their locker room, and so they know. It's the number one vice in the world, and the hardest vice in the world to get rid of, and that's gambling, and that's going to be a problem. And players have to realize, you're losing a lot of money. They used to use a lot of money for smoking marijuana, and they would still do it. So, gambling, which is an even tougher vice, they say, to get rid of, it's gonna, you're gonna start seeing these guys pop up.
And if we go back to what we saw with some of the Lions players, if you look at, it was Stanley Berryhill, one of their receivers, Jamison Williams. They were suspended 6 games for placing bets, not on NFL games, but placing bets while at a team facility. Okay. And it might sound like, all right, whatever, it's things. It's like, just go home and do it.
Well, it's just the rules. I mean, some people, they think the rules don't apply to them in a lot of cases. And, we have to, pat them on the hand and tell them, no, this is what, these are the consequences. You're adults. You have consequences for breaking the rules. Some people don't believe there should be consequences. And then, fortunately, there are. These guys know that.
And this is also, if you're pro sports betting, if you're pro gambling, these are actually positive stories. When we look at what happened, the kind of the craziness out of nowhere, when you saw Alabama, right? Their baseball coach was fired.
Right.
There were some irregularities that were brought up because there's stuff that you can bet on that you don't think about it. Like, there's a lot of college sports that aren't just college football and basketball.
Oh, you can bet on
placing bets on
cricket.
So if you're seeing things like this,
you can bet on everything. It's insane.
While it's frustrating, is this not a positive though, that there are regulating this and that there are people paying attention to this stuff? Isn't that what you want as a proponent, though, of sports gambling?
Well, yeah, JJ. And 30 years ago, I was a nervous young NFL coach. But I told you these stories, JJ, of my buddies calling me from Vegas drunk, saying, hey, we're getting ready to bet on the game. Hey, who do you think we should take this? And I'm a coach in the NFL. I'm like, do you realize that I'm coaching in the league? I could get in trouble for this. Oh, you ain't going to get in trouble. Nobody's going to listen to this phone call in the middle of a casino, me calling my NFL buddy. Nobody's going to hear this. So, that's what happens. The temptation to just give a few tips could land you, in big trouble, could land you into losing your job. And I've been around coaches who have done it, and risk their careers because they can't, get past the thrill and excitement of gambling on a game. And, they may have a tip. They may think, hey, because I know this coach, I know he's going to do this. And, I want to place a bet or I want to help a friend out. It's tempting, but, hey, that's why, that's why we fall short with sin because of Adam and Eve, the temptation.
Well, and some people, Amory, have pointed out that these stories are ultimately a positive because people are paying attention, right? They're holding people accountable, and I know you love the sports gambling.
I do.
I'm pro sports gambling, so I'm not against it. But when you see stories like this,
same.
I know it's frustrating, but you got to say, all right, well, at least
you and I are on the same page.
Yeah, people are paying attention, and I guess if you're getting caught doing something wrong, people are doing their job.
Right. Yes.
And everybody thinks they're not going to get caught. That's the thing. And I've been around these guys. They just do not believe they're going to get caught. And that's the only thing that they feel bad about is that they got caught. They don't feel bad about the gambling because they believe it's a vice that they believe is legal and they should be allowed to do it regardless of the rules. And players are the same way. You know, they do the same things that normal people do in society. So it's a reflection of society. And so we just have to understand that and just realize you're going to get taxed and this is the tax you're going to pay.
Yeah, and like you said, there's some things that people might say, well, is it fair? You're taking all this money from these companies. You're taking this and that. Well, that money ultimately is coming back into the league. You just can't bet on certain things or at certain places. You can still place bets if you're an athlete. You just can't bet on your sport, and you can't do it while you're at a team facility.
Yeah, this is tricky, JJ. It's tricky. Having sports gambling just explode the way it has exploded, and now there's teams in Vegas and that kind of stuff. I mean, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to regulate, and you're going to see more and more of this as we move through society because gambling has been more and more accepted, and the gambling is starting to be more pervasive, and you have easier access to the gambling now, and they're making it easier for a reason. They're inside the stadiums, and people are passionate about their wins and losses, and so as a result of that, you're going to have a lot of these come up, and I think this is just the tip of the iceberg, to be honest with you.
505-246-0610, 377 Brewery Hotline, the Sports Animal text line. Dan, you're on the Sports Animal. What's up, Dan?
Hey, how you doing, guys? Hey, remember Pete Rose and Art Schlichter?
Oh, yeah, I've met Art
Schlichter. And
Schlichter.
what happened with them with gambling? They got to keep gambling. All of these guys that want to gamble, and even on other things, it's no good, man, because of the integrity of the game. These guys can throw a game. And see, years ago, you'd have to go to Jackie the Nose to make a bet. Now you pick up a phone and you call, MGM or whoever in Vegas and make a bet. And the thing is with these ball players, they get into debt. Somebody finds out, and they go up to them and go, look, I can get rid of your debt. If you drop the ball or you take, a couple of points off this game. And for those of you that remember the film Goodfellas, those guys really went to prison because they were doing a point-shaving scandal with Boston College. And that's what really got them jammed up. And then everything else came up. But they were involved in that, too. And that's the one thing they don't want. None of these leagues, everyone knows people gamble, but these, I don't care if it's the NHL, any of these four major sports, they do not want any of their players gambling whatsoever. And years ago, they had a Cincinnati Red pitcher who was in Vegas in a casino. They had him on film, and security went up to him and said, yo, you got to get out of here because we know who you are and you can't be in here. And they threw the guy out. But if that's what it takes, because the last thing anybody wants, any fan, anybody, is someone throwing a game, and it's all about the integrity of the game, man.
Yes,
and that's all I got, fellas. Thank you.
Exactly. And it's one of those things. It's like if you're a player, the league you're in is getting money. Somehow, some way, they're making money off gambling, and that comes back to revenue. Eventually, they'll come down to your contract, but there's things you just can't do. It's that simple, man. Sometimes it's not like, oh, this isn't fair. Why are you taking that money? It's a yes or a no. And
Art
the answer is
Schlichter,
don't do it.
Yeah, Art Schlichter was a hero of mine, and I got to play against him in the Arena Football League, and I met him. And the poor guy was so in over his head in gambling that he told me point blank, I'm playing against him in an arena game. He says, Ned, I do not need to be a hero of yours. And then after the game, we're at our hotel. He's in the hotel lobby in the paid telephone booth making bets. And he had been kicked out of the NFL for gambling. And I mean, this guy's done 10 years in prison because of his addiction to gambling. One of the greatest college quarterbacks I've ever seen play. Art Schlichter, and that's who the caller just mentioned. He fell into the trappings of gambling.
It can get you, and it's tough. But there's things that, as an athlete, you can and cannot do, and we'll see what the NFL finds if indeed there's another wave of suspensions coming down. It's opening drive. JJ Buck-Amory, Ned James. Can the Lakers salvage anything from this series, Game 4 tonight? Why one person thinks there's a chance. ODAM here on the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. A Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream style stucco.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot.
Salvage one more game in their series against the Denver Nuggets, up 3-0. The Nuggets, the #1 seed, but still a shock to a lot of people. Should the #1 seed be in this position? Yes. But I didn't think the Nuggets would be up 3-0. I thought the Lakers would find a way to make this a 6-7 game series. But the Denver Nuggets have had a response. And that response has been Jamal Murray. The 4 quarters he played, the second and third quarter in game 2, the first and second quarter in game 3, were 4 of the best quarters of postseason basketball you're ever going to see outside of the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
And then the Jokers stepped up.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter, game 3, he took over because Jamal Murray, he only scored 7 points in the second half after scoring 30 points in the first half. But the Stars set the tone for the Denver Nuggets. And the effort in that second half, it took the heart away from the Lakers. And LeBron James, well, he's trying to muster up one more run for his Los Angeles Lakers. It's easy to say, the mindset of everything, focus this or that, but this is what LeBron is trying to get across to his team.
The only way you can win this is to make history. You've made history so many times before. You know the game. Does that thought even cross your mind that that's the only way you can do it and you'd like to make history again, obviously?
Of course. That's the only mindset for me, for sure.
That's it. The mindset. Make history.
What
No
else
one's
is
done
he-
it. No one has done it.
What else is he going to say?
Yeah.
He's got to say that. What else is he going to say? I mean, you're LeBron James. You got to say you want to make history, and you don't want to get swept. And he's going to come out with a sense of pride. He's going to try to get this player. He's going to try to get his team around him to come out and have a sense of pride. They're at home, so it's a little bit different, than being on the road. So you don't want to be embarrassed. Boy, there just isn't an answer that they have. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to double Murray and not double Jokic, and he'll go for 45 or 50 on you if you don't. So, I mean, the Lakers are in a tough situation. It'll be interesting to see how they play tonight. I don't think there's an answer for Michael Porter Jr. if he just plays decent. All Michael Porter Jr. has to do is play decent. He doesn't even have to play great, and the Lakers have no answer for him. And so it'll be interesting to see if LeBron, can muster up, a magic one last time and get the Lakers a win in this finals. And it's a win for them anyway to get this far this year. They won't be satisfied. The critics are going to come after LeBron after this like you wouldn't believe. I mean, it doesn't matter that they made it this far miraculously. They're going to come out and they're going to be questioning whether he can withstand another season, or does he deserve, to be top billing as a veteran? But we'll see.
I think for the Lakers team, they thought it was kind of that transition. We've seen that in the playoffs where this should be Anthony Davis's team right now. And Anthony Davis, he has not been bad in this series. It's just the expectations when we're talking about star players are to a certain level. And if you're coming up short, as to your point, Ned, we're going to be looking at things a little bit deeper. And in this series, Anthony Davis, he has to be the tone setter. And I thought he was. He was aggressive early in Game 3. He was 3 for 7, but he was getting to the free throw line. He was attacking. So I don't think Anthony Davis has been a problem. The Nuggets have just outplayed the Lakers. In that second half, the Nuggets just played harder. We're talking about Jeff Green closing the game for the Nuggets and hitting a three-point shot. The 36-year-old Jeff Green is a part of the closing lineup, and just the spurts that Denver can go on is they had at one point into that 9-0 run. Well, it was Jeff Green. It was Jeff Green, Bruce Brown, Jamal Murray. 3 straight possessions, hitting 3-point shots. In the fourth quarter, and this is what we've seen from the Nuggets is the team aspect of the way they're playing, just getting it done in the moments that you don't expect them to be able to pull away like that from the Lakers, especially when they were back home for Game 3.
Mike Malone just has them playing so hard. They play so hard, and it just the Lakers they're trying to match that intensity, and they are. LeBron is the reason why they've been able to match the intensity. But when you're matching intensity and they're just better, it's hard to win a game, and that's why it's been hard for the Lakers to win a game because they're just better. They just have better players, and I've seen that from the first game. I thought the Lakers played great in all the games, and it's just that and Anthony Davis has played good in every single game. He hasn't had one down game in this series, but the Lakers just don't have enough. I mean, 28 and 15 last night, I think, is what Anthony Davis had. That's pretty darn good, for an elite player, and nobody else is coming close to that. And Jamal Murray, you can't double him. and he's really as much as Anthony Davis has played well, he's not the defensive stopper that a Shaq or somebody would be in the paint. And so he may score it, but he doesn't.
Well, he should be. And that's the thing with Anthony Davis is when he's been able to play off of someone, like you saw that really in the Warriors series when he was kind of playing free safety,
right,
defensively, he was really impacting the game. This is just a case too of Jamal Murray is hitting a bunch of tough shots. Like the Lakers, they're not giving Jamal Murray everything. Like Jamal Murray's working off screens, he's hitting step backs over everyone. Like he's just hitting shots at an unbelievable level. Like we're talking like a Kobe Bryant level. He's being
Jamal. He was like that before his knee injury.
Yeah.
JJ. He was a bucket getter before he got the knee, the ACL. I'm just amazed, and I've been talking to one of my good friends. He's in the medical field here, and just how guys can come back after ACL surgeries. I mean, these guys are coming back a year post ACL surgeries. I mean, it makes them actually stronger. They tighten those ACLs up, and these guys are coming out better than they were prior to the ACL, because they say the ACLs get loose over the years anyway. So when they pop and they go back in and sew them up and tighten them up, guys actually are actually better off and stronger. And so Jamal Murray is just showing that boy, the miracles of modern medicine are real.
Jamal Murray so far this series averaging 35 points, shooting 52% from the field, 46% from three, 93% from the free throw line. And when you have a jump shooter shooting over 50% multiple games, that's next level.
Yeah, he good. He good.
And we'll see Game 4 tonight, Crypto.com Arena. Is it over? Can the Lakers salvage something? Because this has been a little bit different than the Celtics series. Like the Celtics, the games 1 and 2 were really close, and then there was a blowout. The Nuggets pulled away in Game 3, but the Lakers have been right there. And I think that's what got people thinking that this series was going to be different. I went down that rabbit hole after Game 1. I was like, hey, this is going to be a tight series. This is close. The Lakers have things that they can do to counter the Denver Nuggets. But effort absolutely matters, and that's what we saw in Game 3. And could the Lakers win one in this series? Yes. But it's over. There's a reason it's never happened before.
And what do they say about close? Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. It ain't gonna count. It don't count in basketball. You gotta win. Can't be close.
And we just the real man. It's what was it? 2004, the first time it happened in baseball, when the Red Sox came back.
It's not happening. We'll see. Unless you believe in the whole rigged thing in the NBA, but it's not happening.
They would have a lot of work to do to get the Lakers.
Yeah, a lot of prayer.
Rigging.
A lot of Laker fans praying today.
Big thank you to our buddy Ned James. Talk to you tomorrow morning.
Thanks,
sir.
Ned James.
Much appreciated. Great job. Marie. As always, Adrian at ProView Networks. We got the Jim Rome Show coming up next. Colin Cowherd at 1. The boys with 2 men on take over at 4 o'clock. We are back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Everybody, Metal peace and love. Have a great day.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your coverage from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not